say happy retirement, John. Rhonda, can you hear me back there?
Your hair looks good. Thank you. You liked it, didn't you?
We'll try and go ahead and get started. I think most of you would rather be able to visit with the people we're going to honor here this afternoon. So we'd like to get on with the formal part of the presentation. Julian, is Maxine?
She's stuck in traffic. Last check, she was about the stadium, so I'm not sure.
Okay. All right.
But she's on her way, so she'll arrive soon.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. I'll try to serve as MC here and referee what goes on. But we first want to try to embarrass Mr. Davis a little bit. And to lead off with that exercise, I'm going to call on Mr. Joe Henneberry. Joe?
Oh, not Joe.
We'll keep this brief and painless, John. We'll get even with you tomorrow night. On behalf of everybody in the TOC and the maintenance department, we would like to thank you very much for 41 great years. Most of us have only been here for a brief portion of that time, but you've provided us with inspiration, leadership. You are a great role model. And if any of us can approach your success of life and with your family and with your job, we're all better people because of you. Thank you very much, John.
Okay, and where's John Hoover?
Hi, as usual.
Well, I'd also like to say how much I've enjoyed working with John. And I'll be quite honest, when I came over here, probably the hardest thing I had to overcome was calling Mr. Davis John. He always was very respected, the father figure. In fact, I guess if I had to come up with a generic picture of what is a fatherly image or somebody to honor, it would be a picture of John Davis, and I mean that sincerely. And when I had just had this other job assignment, Harold McDonald took me aside and he said, one thing you'll find out real quick, he says, you can't ask for a better man to work for. And boy, with no truer words were spoke, it sure was. And I've appreciated the association with John. I've also appreciated my association with Julian. I tell you what, I wish they could wield their brains to me before they left, because they sure have a storehouse of knowledge, but I've enjoyed every day. Thank you.
Now I'm going to ask Jim Diffley. I think he's got something. This is where the real truth comes out.
That means I don't have to say anything nice about you, John. I will tell you one story about John, though. When we started into this early retirement program, we all sat down and everybody was very serious in planning this thing, and I think we came up with a set number. And the more it got along, the more excited John got about retiring, the more excited, God, I really ought to share this. Let those 5 guys go. Let those 10 guys go. And I saw Harold McDonald this morning. He said, if I'd known that John's going to let so many people go, I'd have never taken this new job.
Not without you guys' agreement, though.
Yeah, he called Joe Henneberry at home. Joe was on vacation and said, Joe, Jim Diffley said it'd be okay to let these 20 go. And Joe said, well, all right. Then he came to me and said, Jim, Joe said it'd be all right to let these 20 go.
Whatever it takes.
Oh, you're always playing one of us against the other one. But down to the serious part, John, we've got a gift for you. And there's a couple of things unique about this. This is from most of the folks on the front row, maintenance administration, the regional manager of line maintenance, but what's really unique about it is we finally gotten personnel to chip in. I mean, this is a first. All the personnel reps are participating in this, and I thought you ought to know that. And let's see, I think that Mike Milligan is going to bring it. Mike?
Well, all these guys, they always triple team me when we had all these meetings. One would cover one day, the next day they would just one get me triple.
It generally takes about 3 of them for one bus, right? Well, hey. He's really done it up.
I'm almost ready for the seniors. I'm going to have to take a few lessons before I do that. You know. How that look?
Go in the back, Mike.
Hope you think of, oh here, you got your own caddy whenever you want. Hope you have many years to enjoy that.
But I'm really looking at taking my first golf lesson about 3 weeks from now. I'm going to go up to the River House and kick back for the first few times. But I'll put this to good use. And thank y'all.
Congratulations, John. Thanks for everything.
You're great.
You really are going to have to learn to play golf now.
I know that.
Let's see, we have some Britishers. Don Ross with Rolls-Royce would like to say something.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I make this presentation to John, I would just like to say a few words really to John and to Julian. Their record with Delta goes back a lot longer than it does with Rolls-Royce. We have now got 20 years, in fact it's our 20th anniversary with Delta. And the thanks that we owe to John and to Julian just really can't be expressed. The early days were very difficult, and Julian on behalf of engineering, John on behalf of maintenance saw us all through them. And I think it's very fitting that, yes, I did try to. As they retire, the world liability record sits with Delta Airlines and with these two gentlemen. And I think as we talk today, the record has been pushed out yet again. It's now up over 24,400 hours and still increasing. And that is a fitting tribute to absolutely not. We have a plaque in our office that talks about the first 1,000-hour RB211. That was in 1974. So it's certainly come a long way. But on behalf of Rolls-Royce, we were able to honour Julian at a ceremony last night. But we have a small memento for you, John. On behalf of Rolls-Royce and from all your friends there, we wish to thank you very much for all you have done for us. And we hope you'll come and see us.
Thank you. I appreciate all
Most welcome.
the years.
Certainly you can.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Technical things get to me, Russ. Who's life? Thank you, Don.
Okay. I think that's all the presentations we had for John. Okay, Dick?
Please don't sit on it.
I want to say a few words. I feel very, very honored to represent Pratt & Whitney. Wish both of these gentlemen the best of luck in their retirement. We had a fairly good turnout for Julian and Maxine, and it certainly is going to be very difficult to walk by both of their offices and see them missing, but I know that occasionally I'm going to get on the golf course, hopefully with John and Julian both, but I want to give that caddy some advice over there. He'll be charging you. He's charged us all the time we played with him. But I want to wish John the best of luck from Pratt & Whitney, both here at Delta Airlines and all his friends up at East Hartford and in your retirement. And
It's been a pleasure, and I need a few strokes. Those old guys can't keep it like the young ones.
Before the first tee.
Let's see. How you get in here, Dick? Dip it over. Bottom side of it. Let me unfold this way.
Don't let Pete Moore see it.
Pete?
I want strokes.
Yeah, one more for John.
Okay. Russ, I'm always cleaning up. We had the great honor and pleasure of having John down in the hangar Wednesday to honor him to the mechanics, lead mechanics, foremen and so forth that he works with every day. And we took a few photographs, and we would like to present John some of those remembrances. Not much, but there's a lot of classic pictures in there. And we've got one of your, a very fine photograph of your aunt.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
So congratulations, John.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, and I think we got a couple of, one retiree, one about to retire. Pete, come on forward. You got something you want to say? Pete, Brad.
I never knows what I'm going to say when I walk up. You
AVO system is still in.
Usually tell me I talk too long. Margaret's already told me I only got 2 minutes, so I'll go ahead. No, I just wanted to take the opportunity to tell you how much we appreciate working with you. And John and I, a lot of people might not be aware, were born in the same year, 1930. I don't mind telling you, he might not like it. But we married along the same time with 2 lovely ladies. And we came to work with Delta in 1952 at the same time, coincidentally in the same department. And I got a little antsy last year and left a little bit early, a little before John did. But our careers kind of paralleled as far as the calendar time was concerned. But I bonded members of John are doing group meetings and talking to a lot of the young guys. And he'd always say that Delta Airlines is a class airline in the industry, and we certainly all agree to that. But further than that, I feel like John Davis is certainly the class guy in our department, and it's been my pleasure to work with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. I'm going to be brief. I just want to express my gratitude to Mr. Davis. Met him in, first of all, in 1972 in Houston, shortly after I lost my daughter. And he extended to me some things that I'll never be able to repay. And that's compassion and friendliness and willing to go out of his way to help me and my family and basically along my step in my career support me in a way that no other individual has ever done. And I'll never forget it. It'll mean immensely for the rest of my life. I'm appreciative of everything that has been available to me in this department, and especially with the association with this group. And John, thanks a lot. You are a class act, and congratulations in your retirement. And for all those service pins and things that you've presented over the years, Pete and I would like to present you with a little memento.
I got one of these when I retired. The guys in the hangar, and John almost took it away from me. Well, I better, so I can keep mine, I better see if we can work him one out, I guess. We'd like to present this to you.
This other gray head fell on the right side.
Who's got the bluest hair?
Julian, I knew you were coming up with something.
That's neat. That I'll share.
Thank you, Pete, Brad. Okay, does anyone else for John? Okay, I think before we get to Julian, we're going to put him to work one more time. In addition to Julian and John, we have another person who is retiring on the 1st and who has been also quite an institution around here, and that's Vivian Harrington. Vivian,
Yes.
Why don't you come forward, please?
Thank you, Rod. It gives me a lot of pleasure to present this to Vivian for 34 years. She has been a tremendous help to me and most everybody in this room from time to time. And certainly my family appreciates it. I don't think my son and daughter could take a trip without talking to Vivian. Just thank you for everything, Vivian.
Thank you, Jim. I would just like to say that it has been a wonderful career here. I wouldn't change a thing about it for fear I'd mess up today. It has been a rewarding experience. I love everyone here, your family. Don't ever let it be said that the Delta family spirit no longer exists, because it does. You mean an awful lot to all of us who are leaving here today. I've had the pleasure of working for 5 great executives, and it's been, most of my tenure has been here at the TOC. I've loved every day of it. I love all of you, and thanks for this privilege today.
I have been cleaning out my desk. Not only my desk, but the storage room, and I think the storage room that a lot of people contributed to besides me, because more junk in there than I thought it was. But one thing I ran into, I thought one of the people up here might appreciate. It's a picture of 3 little blonde-headed girls, and their mother and daddy.
Fantastic.
If you and Julian both would come up. I'll put this, I don't have to tell you what these 2 gentlemen mean to Delta, because everybody has expressed that. But speaking from the manufacturers and from GE's standpoint, they mean a lot to us as well. And we really respect their experience and the years of service that they've put in the aviation business. And to wish them the best on their retirement, we have a gift for each one of them that I'm sure that they'll be able to put to good use in their retirement.
Thank you
All
very
the
much,
best.
Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. That's opening up.
It's got a head on it. I don't know what
have to increase by 100 then if I do that.
That's the best guarantee we've given in a long time.
That'll do it, John.
Did I get it done?
That'll get it done.
All right.
It's a miracle for him.
He's been here for a long time. He indicated that last night. He actually started, I think he messed up. You didn't start, you won't have an anniversary next month, this next month after next. December the 3rd, according to my notes. 1956, it's a long time. I was trying to remember where I was in 1956.
Family school?
I was born anyway. Julian actually was raised just northeast of here in a little town called Washington, I believe. And he left there and went up to Virginia to VMI, went to school and got somewhat of a North education. And then he came to work here in '56, and while here as a systems engineer, I think, in engineering department. And he wasn't here long before I think he went out to Convair and did a lot with pulling the Convair 80 in as our factory rep out there. And then sometime around 60, I think he came back. And somewhere along in there, I'll tell you the story. He talked about it last night for those that were there, but it was the DC-9. He and I think Walton and Art and Don, was Don one of them, put together the DC-9 spec. And they did it, I think, in a hotel room or something, and it was a fairly, small document. And every time I've put together a spec since then, he's reminded me how much.
I think most of you can hear me without it. True enough, I have known both of these guys for quite a while. As I was walking down the hall before, one of the fellows passed by and he said, it sure is a sad day. But really, it is a sad day, but on the other hand, it's a great day when you can see two gentlemen like this and the accomplishments that they have achieved in their lifetime and what they've done for Delta Airlines. Both of them got here on time to see the DC-3. They helped park the DC-3s and they helped to usher in the jet air. And I'm sure they're standing there looking at me now and say, yeah, he's up there going to get trip. And John Davis, myself, Gene Christian, I think Jenny Burnett was with us. Went out to Port Aransas, Texas. While I'm up here, Russ, I got one more. Where's Margaret? There's supposed to be a box around here.
It's right there. Pat, it's right by you, Pat. Pat. It's right over there, Pat.
It's the wall.
Oh, that went up on the wall right there. God bless, and I hope you and your family have many happy and successful years in retirement.
I would like to say my very first assignment at Delta Airlines was in the payroll department a few years ago. My first assignment was to type Mr. Woolman's paycheck on an old manual Underwood typewriter. And talking about your hands freezing on the keys, I did. I also had the privilege of personally meeting Mr. Woolman on our first flight into Newark at that time. We referred to it as our New York run. And everyone that could be spared was allowed to go.
What I'm about to say, John almost jeopardized this, but
He's one an impressive group of folks.
Oh yeah, so we went there Wednesday night, we were spending the barbecue.
I know, right? They help on it, but, we spent this money, we put it in so that something's moving all the time. And it's like, yeah, and so, that makes it easy, but I said, I want something to do that, but I want to make sure it's doing things where they should be. I love that, because it is.
get out and out here.
Fellowship, but we have a few folks that would like to get up and say a few words. Okay.
I don't let those grandboys get up for more than 30 minutes to each.
We're all honored to work with you through these years, John. You've contributed as much or more to Delta Airlines as any other individual that we know of. And we're very grateful to have had the opportunity to work with you through the years. Personally, in the last year and a half, it's just been wonderful. I've enjoyed everything you've taught me and everything you've shared with me, and you're a good man to work with, and I appreciate it. Jim, would you care to say a few words about John? Reveal a few secrets that he wishes you would?
We don't understand.
It's a two-way street, isn't it?
That's right.
Hey, Jim, technically, he's not retired yet.
Russ,
Midnight tomorrow night, so.
I'm convinced that this time next year he can come back and fight. You know, John and I have been working together for 22 years. It was November 1971. I remember it very well. We started off with a real easy one, the Northeast Merchant. That was really a bear. I mean, that was a challenge and a half. Of course, Russ, you were there. You know what that was like. I think one of the funniest stories I ever heard that truly happened, several of us were there. Marvin Johnson, Maurice Worth. I know you were there. I don't know whether you were present when this happened. A guy named Stu Ross. Well, Stu was the head of maintenance for Northeast, and he became our general foreman there. And he was one of the biggest characters I've ever met, in or out of aviation. So Maurice Worth told this story at Marvin Johnson's retirement about this Northeast mechanic came in and said he couldn't transfer to Atlanta, and he couldn't come down because he was allergic to air conditioning. So, you know, they said, well, we're sorry, you got to go. Next guy came in and said his wife couldn't leave her folks. They lived within 2 blocks of her folks all their life. Well, he had to go. Next guy came in and said, I can't go because God told me last night, said I got to stay in Boston. The three of us just sort of sat there and didn't know quite what to say. And Stu Ross got up, walked next door, left the door open, picked up the telephone, dialed. He was carrying on a real animated conversation for about 2 minutes. Hung up, came back, said, it's okay, I just spoke with God, he wants to see you in Atlanta. Well, that was typical of some of the things that John and I encountered, but then after that, we had the fuel crunch, tight times, the Western merger. I think the Western merger about ran us to death. That time zone, going out on Friday night, Sunday night, coming back on Friday night, I know it was a tough go. Then the Pan Am acquisition, so. I guess we've been through about as many major events as you can have in this period of time. One of the things that John said in the hangar the other day really registered with me, John. I always kid John about being a Marine. You know, you can always tell a Marine, but not much. But the Marines, you know, are so-called leathernecks, and I never could get it straight. I'd always say something to John about leatherheads. And fortunately, never took offense at that. But truly what John said was that in the Marines, they taught him patience and discipline. Well, John, I honestly think that everybody in this room should have been with you. You learned the lessons well. I know there were many occasions where I tried your patience. There were many occasions where several thousand folks tried your patience. I don't think I've ever seen anybody that had the patience that you displayed through the years. I've always admired you for that. I've never understood how you could do it. I've seen guys just come up one side of you and down the other, and you just sat there and grinned at them. I don't know what you were thinking, but you really did. I think that's a wonderful trait. The other day, of course, you got a replica of the Woolman Memorial. And, of course, Mr. Woolman's philosophy was to treat your employees fairly and to make a profit. I remember hearing that for years and years, and, of course, that's always been Delta's philosophy. But, John, you, more than any other Delta executive I've ever seen in my 34 years, epitomizes that. You've carried his philosophy home. I've seen you deal